guys, I actually forgot how good this webcam was. So, all right, so I kind of made a decision. Actually, can you guys even hear me? Oh my God, I've never used this new live thing. It's really cool though. How do I edit this? Is there a way for me to fucking change? Can you guys, if you're in here, and I'm gonna hide the chat eventually, but can you guys hear me, or is it like, can you not hear me? How well can you hear me? Can you hear me? Like, does it sound okay? Okay, you guys can hear me. I'm gonna hide chat. Thank you so much. Or how do I hide chat? I don't know how to hide chat actually. Pop out chat. Yep. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a pop out chat. So, I love how I always start a live broadcast and then realize like the 50 million things I don't have in front of me. So of course I'm a sloppy, disgusting, nasty bitch. And I have makeup that I wore from last night on because of course I went out and came back home and passed out, didn't take my makeup off. Like, I'm just filthy. I'm just fucking disgusting. And guess what I'm doing right now? Putting more makeup on to go out and do it all again because this is my life now. So I actually have been really wanting to upload videos on this channel for a while. And one of the big reasons why I haven't is because I just really, I did the same thing I was doing to myself on my main channel. Remember, if you guys remember when I started this channel, I was like, I really want to be able to upload, you know, whatever videos I want to this channel. I want to be able to have it to be less stressful for me. I want to be able to not freak out about quality and stuff like that. But then when I started doing videos on this channel, I became really obsessed with quality. I became really obsessed with making sure that the videos I uploaded looked good. And so I was filming really nice videos and then like wanting to upload them, but then not uploading them for X reason or another. And it was just a fucking mess. It was just a fucking mess. Because I kind of ended up creating a new burden. And so one of the things I've decided to do, especially after looking at the quality of this I forgot how good this webcam was actually. Is I'm just going to do live broadcasts. Because, the thing is, I was trying to emulate, what YouTube felt like for me when I was younger, where I would just record these videos and upload them. But we didn't have live broadcasting on here for a while. And, because of that, I think, I was overthinking a lot of this. Just doing live broadcasts with these types of videos that I want to do on this channel makes the most sense. I'm going to just do that. So I wanted to talk to you guys about poly and some like misconceptions and stuff, because, there were some comments left on my last video, which by the way, now has 10,000 views. I didn't think that video would get 10,000 views. I don't know why that video has 10,000 views. I'm assuming maybe someone made a shitty video about it. I don't care. But, I know that's probably what happened, because a lot of my videos on this channel, they only get like, 2,000 views. And I love that. I love the fact that like my videos on here aren't like successful. And then I have a smaller, more dedicated viewer base than I usually do on my main channel. Right. But who cares? Whatever. We're going to talk a little bit about this, but I'm a public figure and I have to sort of accept that that's the way things are, that people are always going to like, have their little fucking opinion. And I do accept that. I really do. But anyway, so like I said, I'm doing my makeup because I'm going to be going out tonight, actually to a poly event, interestingly enough. I'm going to another polyamory event. These are my new glasses. I don't really like these ones as much. I've been really obsessed with my main glasses. Anyway, and so we're going to talk about that, because I actually broke up with one of the people I was seeing last night. And it was an interesting feeling because I've never been dumped. Actually, I don't think I've ever really been dumped, but I've never been dumped and then felt like kind of okay about it. So that kind of just made me really want to talk about, poly and stuff. And so, here we are. Now I'm realizing as I'm sitting down that I don't have a mirror with me. I guess I could just grab this mirror over here. Don't look at my butt. Oh my God, stop. Oh my God, stop looking at it. What y'all doing that for? All right, so I guess I'll just be using this when as I'm doing my makeup. So I read some of the comments on my last video that I made up on this channel. Oh, bitch, actually, before I get into that, let me go grab a cider and then come right back because, listen, alcohol in LA is so fucking expensive. And the event I'm going to right now is at a bar. And you know what? Listen, as delicious as those drinks are, I really don't want to spend $40 tonight. So let me get a little, my drink on just a little bit. I just met with my trainer today. We just worked out. We did arms today. And my trainer was like, you can drink Angry Orchard. Well, first he told me that I shouldn't have gluten, right? And then because he came to my housewarming party and we both talked about how, Angry Orchard has no gluten in it. So, it's health. It's if you're going to intoxicate yourself, this is the way. Oh, that's good as shit. Okay. Back to our regular programming. So I read some of the comments on my most recent video. Now, I'm definitely not the sort of person who is easily offended. I want to make this very clear. I'm not offended by anything. And I wish some people kind of got that about me and my personality. Like, I've been on YouTube since I was 15 years old. I've experienced some of the most intense harassment ever. And so I'm not really affected by people's opinions, but shit makes me think, right? Sometimes when people say shit, it makes me think. And that's always been my problem with my YouTube channel sometimes is that I will sit there and not educate, but entertain someone's shitty point because I find it worth at least talking about, right? And so one of the common themes that I read, throughout the comments in response to my coming out video about polyamory was this idea that really what it was, and this is a very common thing for people to say about people who are poly, really what it is I just wanted to have a shitload of sex, right? That I was basically just a hoe who wanted to jump from dick to dick, and that's really what that's about. Now, the reason why I find that to be so funny is, to be honest with you guys, I've had so much less sex deliberately dating as a polyamorous person than I was when I was trying to be monogamous, right? Let me go grab my fan because it's hot as shit in here. When I was trying to be monogamous, y'all, I had so much sex with so many people. And as of now, I'm only really having sex with 2 people. And rather infrequently. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be poly and also have a lot of sex. I mean, for some people, that is what polyamory is about. But I'm very different, right? For me, so first of all, here's the thing. Okay, let me say this first. Sex is very touchy for me these days. You guys know I just got out of a 5-year relationship, okay? And there's still some, healing to do there. I'm not totally okay. I think I'm mostly okay, but I'm not totally okay. It's one of those things where I'm holding my head high and saying shit's okay, but I'm not totally okay. I mean, the breakup was my decision, but I'm not totally okay. And so for me, sex does carry weight to me, especially now as I get older. It carries weight to me. I can't just have sex, you know? Now, actually, before I go on, how annoying is the fan? Because the fan is really cooling me the fuck down, but I don't want it to annoy you guys. Let me see. Are there mods on this channel? I'm not sure. There aren't mods, but I can make you a mod. Let me see if I can make you a mod because I'm already seeing bullshit on here. I don't know what happened. Would you like to be a mod, M? The chat isn't too bad. Okay, well, I'm going to make you a mod because I know you're a mod on my other channel. And Mia, would you mind being a mod? Because I feel like you would be a good mod because I know you're real. So I'm going to make you a mod. So all that means is you get to fucking ban people. Because I'm not reading the chat, but can you guys hear me? It's not too bad. Okay. Perfect. Yes, the Black Kitty Committee. So anyway. So sex for me is very particular, right? I mean, I will say one of the things I've dealt with, you know, trying to deliberately date poly is, so, you know, there were a couple of guys that I started going out with, you know, when I was single again. And I met a lot of guys who said that they were polyamorous, who said that they were totally down for all of that stuff. Who down the line, eventually you know, found the girl that they really, really liked and decided to become monogamous. And some of those men I had slept with. And if I sleep with someone, oh no, this is gonna be so bad. And if I sleep with someone, right, I don't rush into sleeping with someone. So a lot of times, if I sleep with someone, that means that we've gotten to know each other. We've gone on a lot of different dates. We are at we're you know what I mean? Like we actually have taken the time to know each other, and sex came after, you know, a while of us dating, right? And so in some of the situations I've been in, I've dated men who said that they were poly, and I had sex with them, and then they got into these serious monogamous relationships not too long thereafter. And in every situation, I can honestly say, I mean, this is my particular opinion. Wow, this looks really, really weird on camera, but it's not that intense in person. I can honestly say that I know most of those people, it wasn't like they did that on purpose. It wasn't like they lied to me and said, oh, this is how I feel, and they were trying to just fuck. It just happened that way, you know, like they just ended up being in a situation where, you know, they met someone who fit them in the ways that they were looking, and it worked out for them, right? But for you know, for me, when I have my position on it is this, you know, if I'm dating someone and they find someone that they really like, I'm happy for them. But what bothers me is, as a poly person, you know, I don't look at my partners in a way like where, okay, they're great, and so I'm gonna just sacrifice everyone else. I look at it as the more people in their lives that love them, the better. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of how I fucking look at it. So it was really aggravating for me to have done that thing that, you know, clearly I'm still guarded about with these men, to have them be like, well, I'm not poly after all. That was really sort of hurtful for me. And so when it comes to sex, especially after I mean, this happened a lot of times. I'm not even going to tell you how many times because it's kind of embarrassing. I'm very much in the mindset of, I'm really not rushing into having sex with people. because I don't want to be hurt. And I know how I am. There are very few situations where I can just have sex with someone and be okay with it, right? So poly for me is really, really, truly, and honestly not about me getting laid all the time, because if it was, I would be having so much more sex. I would be having so much more sex. So much more sex. Oh my God. Because the thing is, I don't have a lack of opportunity for sex. I don't have a lack of interested parties for sex. I'm just very much in like, I know myself, and I know, like when I was, I told this guy this yesterday, but like when I was in Orange, there's this bar that I used to always go to. And I was pretty popular at that bar. There were a lot of guys there that really liked me, or like, were interested in me, would flirt with me all the time. And I would always tell these guys, I would always look them point blank in the face and say, you don't want to fuck me because I'm crazy. Because and I know that like that's a little fucked up, but I know how I am. Like even at the bar I go to right now, there's like a lot of different men who are in and out of that bar who I like a lot, who I know like me, who I know that if in a certain situation it can maybe go that way. I know that, but I know myself. I know that if I have sex with somebody, as much as I might try to convince myself to like not see it as a serious thing, not see it as a big deal, I know that it's going to be very hard for me to just dismiss that as just sex and just leave it there. So I tend to not have sex with people that often. But also, here's another thing, because this is a situation now, I can talk about this now, but when it happened, it was kind of bothersome, but then not really. There's another, when you're a poly person, you have to also think about other people. You have to also think about the other partners of the person that you're sleeping with. Now, there's a guy who I've been seeing the longest out of all the guys I'm currently seeing. Well, I can't really say all the guys currently, because really all I can say now is both. Because at one point I was seeing 4 guys. I broke up with one yesterday. Well, he broke up with me. And then I kind of closed things out with the other one. And now I'm really only dating 2 guys. One of which I'm having sex with, the other which I'm not. The second guy that I'm having sex with is a guy who's monogamous, who that will never be a relationship. But, we have a good understanding, and that's that. But anyway, so the guy that I'm seeing the longest, we didn't have sex for a good month, right? He was there for me when I was going through my breakup. He was really there for me when I needed someone to talk to. And having him there for me was just, honestly, like, I'm so thankful to him, because he was actually really able to be a good shoulder for me when I needed one, right? And so me and him, we just got to know each other really, really well. And he's heavy into BDSM. He's the person who like introduced me to the world of BDSM. I already kind of knew about it, but he's the one who I actually did things with. And so we got to know each other, and he got to like get into my brain, right? He got to really get into my brain and maybe get into those things that like I'm even a little too uncomfortable admitting to you guys, right? And so after a month of us just getting to know each other, when we eventually did have sex, it was best sex I've ever had. Best sex I've ever had, hands fucking down. Best sex I've ever had. Best sex I've ever had. Because whenever we have sex, it's all, he's trying new things with me, he's bringing out the toys, he's bringing out that. And it's always like pushing my limits, making me try something different, making me try something a little bit further than what I wanted to go. And it's always a good fucking time. And I know we have really good sex because we took that time to get to know each other, to really get inside of each other's minds. And now every time we have sex, it's just mind blowing. But recently we had a bit of a situation. So last time I saw him, we went out and we saw Allegiant, which was not the best movie in the world. I mean, I didn't hate it, but there were so many plot holes. I was like, I don't know why people love this movie, because it's like the premise does not make a lot of sense. But whatever, women led cast, whoop whoop, feminism, blah blah. And so we went to Legion. We got sushi. And then we went back to his place. We had really, really great sex. And we kind of like, now we've been seeing each other for, I guess, like in a couple months, it'll be about a year. And we had sort of we kind of are still building up that trust still. And he let me sleep in, because he had to go to work really early. He let me sleep in, and he let me lock up his apartment, which I've never had a guy do that with me. So I was just like, whoa, like, ooh, we're like getting, to another level or whatever. And so I go home, I'm fucking happy as shit. Had a really great, cute little date with him. And he calls me the next day, right? And he calls me the next day to tell me that apparently one of his partners tested positive for what was it? Wow, why am I forgetting it? Gonorrhea, right? Now, if you know me and you've watched me and you followed me for a while, you know one of my biggest fucking fears is catching any sort of like STD or getting HIV or anything. Like, it's just a very big thing for me, which is maybe another layer of why I'm a little finicky when it comes to sex. In fact, some of you guys, I mean, I'll probably tell this full story at some point, but like some of you guys know that when I was in college, I was kind of in a kind of an abusive, oh, fuck, that just perfect. Just, that's awesome. I was in an abusive relationship, and towards the end of it, he had told me that I gave him an STD, and it really fucked with me. He told me that he was going to kill himself, and that's why I ended up shaving my head my last year of college, right? Because I was just so fucked up about this idea that I gave him something that, like, that played into a lot of the sort of transphobic shit that I was feeling back then. And so for me, that's a really serious, scary thing. And I like this guy. We're going to call him Soldier. That's what I called him last time I made a video about him. I really like Soldier because he is definitely communicative. He tells me everything, right? And so sometimes he tells me shit that I don't want to even fucking know. Like, sometimes he'll tell me way, way too much fucking information. But like, Soldier is great, and I really, really like him. And so when it came to sex, there was definitely a bit of boundary that was there's a bit of boundary that was let down. We have unprotected sex. He's the only person I'm having unprotected sex with, which, drag me for it, come for me or whatever. I get it. I'm not, especially after this, I'm not really going to try to act like you're not right, but we had unprotected sex and it was good. So, but in the moment when he called me, like, because I like him so much, him telling me that, for some reason, obviously not for some reason, he's not an abusive guy. I didn't have that same freak out that I did with the guy that I had in college, right? So now I'm freaking out because I might have something, and I need to go get tested. And this was in between one of my travels, so I was really stressed, honestly. So I went and I went and I got tested. And honestly, I'm kind of, not that I'm glad this happened, but I'm glad that I was pushed to go get tested, because moving to LA, I was kind of looking for a new place to go get tested. And so it kind of ended up working out that I, would go and find a place. And so, whatever. And so I went and got tested. I love the place to get tested because they have like an online app thing that will give you your results. And so I got tested and I was checking the app like every day. And of course I came up negative, nothing. I don't. He had to sit there and call every person he's having sex with right now, every person he's dating right now, to tell them that, hey, one of the partners I was with was not very honest with me about her situation, and now, I might have given you something. And so most poly people are very aware that when they're having sex with someone, there's a chance that they might bring something home to the other people that they're with, right. So a lot of people are not going to rush into, a heavy sex thing because of that risk, right? And I'm not saying that there aren't poly people who fuck around like that. I'm really not, but I'm saying that for most poly people, it's definitely a bit of an issue, to just sort of go out and fuck because again, you're bringing something home. You're taking that risk of getting your spouse, something. And so in the poly people that I've known, sex is definitely something that we tread very carefully with. So anyway, so that's that. So I'm not really out here fucking out these people because I just really don't want to take that risk of giving my partners anything. So anyway, that kind of answers the whole are you poly to fuck more people thing. I really wish I could say I was, but that's just not the case, right? Now another thing I'm kind of up against now is, I kind of for the past 6 years or so really thought of myself as always being with my ex, right? I never really thought that I would be in the situation I am now where I'm single, and now I'm having to have a lot of conversations about trans stuff that I really thought I'd never had to have anymore. Like I thought so much of the trans shit that I would talk about was just not something I needed to, I don't know because of course my excuse always for not being as forthcoming with everyone I meet about me being trans was always, well, I'm in a relationship and I only really feel like telling people who I'm having sex with. And so, I kind of spent a lot of time building up a lot of comfort around the idea that I would always be in that relationship. Of course, when I started that relationship, I didn't understand that I was polyamorous. I really didn't. I wanted nothing more than monogamy. And then it's one of those things when once you have it, you realize, okay, this isn't totally what I want. Not that he was a bad person or anything. He was great. And he's still a great person. I mean, I still wish that me and him could have had more conversations about shit because a lot of our issues in our relationship were just miscommunication and us both in our own ways thinking that the relationship was one way when it was really another. So much of the reason why we broke up was miscommunication. And I wish I could go back and change it, but we're here now, so what's up? And so anyway, fuck, I'm losing my train of thought. What the fuck? Where was I going with that? I totally lost my train of thought. Oh my God, I hate when that happens. Wow, I really lost where that was going. I'm so sorry, guys. I know I was leading up to a really good point, but I just totally lost it. The trans thing. So, so now, honestly, I'm dealing with a lot of in this new phase of life because listen, my life is very different now than what it was when I was single and trying to date and I met my ex. When I was 21 years old, all I wanted in life was stealth. That's all I wanted. All I wanted was to be a trans person who disappears. That is all I wanted. That was my biggest focus. And so I sabotaged my YouTube channel. I sabotaged a lot of aspects of my career, all because I just really wanted to, not be known as a trans person, right? But fast forward, 6 years, and I'm out of that relationship. But now I'm sort of, I guess you could say famous. I don't like to say that, but people do. And now it's the complete opposite. People can Google me and now they know. And I've been working so hard, before I met my ex to make it so that that was never the case. I was sabotaging the fuck out of my career, out of everything, because all I wanted to be able to do was have this existence online where I could sort of do what I was doing, but not have anyone know that I was trans or call me out for being trans or things like that. So, but now life is very fucking different. Life is very, 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 very fucking different. And so now I'm just in this weird situation where I'm here's the biggest thing for me. I don't want to date men who don't like trans women. I don't want to date men who don't like trans women. I just actually, before I went live on here, I got a message from someone on OkCupid, and I haven't gotten a message like this in a while, but the guy sent me a message and it was like, wow, you're so hot. I wish you weren't transgender. I wish you weren't, And there was a time in my life where men would say things like that to me, and I would be like, oh yeah, well, I'm not like those other girls and this and that. And I would really kind of, try to show that I was the exception. I would change into this person who needed to convince this man that despite the fact that I'm not usually his flavor, I'm good and I'm worth it. So maybe you should give me a chance anyway. That's what I would do, right? But now I look at the fact that I have an amazing career. I'm gainfully employed. I live in my own 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles, right? I'm intelligent. I'm good looking. I have way too many things that I see as awesome for me to like make myself smaller for a man. I'm not going to do that. And having the experience of stealth dating and having the experience of, going out with men who didn't quite know that I was trans, I just know how fucking pointless it is to do that and to sort of waste your time with someone who really doesn't fucking like you. And so I'm always super upfront on all of my dating profiles and stuff. I'm always super, 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 super upfront because I don't want to waste my fucking time. My time is very valuable to me, and I want to spend my time with men who also feel like their time is valuable, right? If you have too much free time, I think we're not going to get along. And so that's where I'm at. That is where I'm at. So that all being said, dating is like in many ways more complicated for me than it was. I'm now someone who is famous, which means that men who meet me online can look me up and, figure out things about me or, judge me based on the shit they see online. And it also means that there's no way in hell I can really downplay or deny or dismiss my transness. Because that almost rhymed. And so that's the situation we're in. I hate these colors. I've been using the Morphe 35O that I actually got free from fucking from BeautyCon. I mean, the shadows are fine, but like these colors, this is like the regular eye that I usually do. And I hate it. I usually use my I usually use my Juvia's Place. I almost forgot the name of the brand because those colors are a little bit more woman of color friendly. But I'm feeling a little lazy and I don't want to go get it. So whatever. So yeah, and so I'm in this really interesting point where like I am the prettiest I've ever been. But I have all this other shit going on that means that like people even organically meeting me are going to eventually, because here's what's happened. I'll talk about this later, but I went to a poly convention, right? And it was kind of a common thing for me to be having a conversation with someone very casually who does not know who the fuck I am, who has no understanding of anything that I do. And we're just talking with each other as people. And then someone run up to me and be like, oh my God, Kat, I love your stuff, da 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 da, and rattle off all this trans stuff. And then me having to kind of like reconcile, like, okay, these people who just met me, who I'm not trying to fuck, are now thrown off because I didn't tell them that I was trans. which isn't really important in the context of this conversation, but now that's what they want to talk about, right? That's just something that happens all the time with me, where like I'll be out doing something and someone will come up to me very excited, oh my God, Kat, blah, 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 blah. And now it's like I have to talk to these random people who don't know me, but maybe we're having a good conversation with me about some trans shit that to me is very irrelevant to most of the conversations I ever have, right? So that's like a really big place of frustration for me, because I really hate these colors. Let me just fix it. Because I'm just tired of like having to navigate around that. Like, as much as I am not ashamed, you know, I don't like people telling my story for me. That's always been a really big pet peeve of mine, is people telling my story for me. And when you're trans, even though you may be talking to somebody who does not need to know everything about you, people feel very fucking entitled to getting every little bit of information about you. Every little bit of information about, and that's just, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Like, you don't need to know everything about my medical history because you just met me and you thought I was cool, you know? Anyway, so I have like all these layers of shit that I'm dealing with dating now, because, you know, and I was thinking about this. I think when I was single and I was dating a lot, like the men who did like trans women really liked more traditional type, like they really wanted like that very traditional woman who was monogamous, who, you know, was conventional, who was passable, who was all these different things. And I kind of fell into that. I kind of fell into like trying to give a man what he wanted. You know, I didn't really like myself as much as I do now. And so I spent a lot of time just sort of changing myself because of what I thought men liked, you know? And I think back then I didn't say that that's what was happening. I think if you asked me back then, you know, if that's what I was doing, I would deny the shit out of it. But that's what was happening. Like, between you and I, that's what was happening, is I was changing myself a lot because of what men liked, right? So anyway, but now I'm more free and I really fucking like myself. I have a really high opinion of myself. And so I'm not changing myself for men. I'm definitely fucking not. And so that presents a whole nother issue, because there are men who can be okay with my trans stuff, but they're not okay with the poly thing, right? And so that's been frustrating. And then vice versa, there's men who are okay with the poly thing, but not the trans thing, right? And so last night I broke up with, well, I didn't break up, he broke up with me, with a guy that I actually met at the event that I'm heading to right now. And he's going to be there tonight. And I don't think it's going to be awkward, but it might be awkward. I don't know. And this was a guy who had seen me at the poly event a couple different times, thought I was beautiful, and asked me out on a date. Now, I've only in my life ever accepted, you know, do you want to go out sometime invitations from two guys. And he's the second one, because I'm very much like, I really want to be able to talk to you about all my trans shit before I agree to go on a date. And I guess I kind of assumed he knew, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I'm bad at just assuming that people know because of the people that I'm around. I just sort of assumed that he knew. And apparently he didn't know that I was trans until the day before he came over to my place, because our first date, there were a lot of financial things happening on his end. And while I usually don't invite men over on the first date, he was like, hey, I want to cook you dinner. You know, and, you know, because money's kind of tight for me right now. He's in between jobs. And I was like, sure. You know, I see him every fucking month at these poly conventions. We also go to the same golf clubs and stuff. So it's like, we're always seeing each other. So let's just, you know, go out on a date and see where it goes. Because like I said, like the men in the, like I'm all about, like, I don't like unfinished business. I don't like seeing someone all the time who likes me and then not being able to pursue it, right? So he asked me out on a date. I said yes. And then, you know, the day that he came over, he told me, yeah, I didn't know that you were trans until he'd seen one of my YouTube videos that was going around during Martin Luther King season. And he was like, well, here we are. And interestingly enough, he has a transgender daughter. And so it's not like he's closed-minded to these things, but he has never been with a trans woman. And so he said very upfront, he was like, look, I don't know that if we got down to sex, if I would be comfortable with it. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with having sex with you. I'm very attracted to you. I think you're hot. I think you're gorgeous. But I don't know how sex would go with me. Now, me being a fool and not liking unfinished business, I was like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Let's see where this goes. And we'll go from there, because again, I really don't like, I see this guy not because there's people that I see in the BDSM community, there's people that I see in the goth community, and there's people that I see in the poly community. He's part of the poly community and the goth community. So I see him at all the clubs I go to, plus I see him at all the events I go to. I went to an event last night and he was there. That's when he broke up with me. And that was more of a BDSM event. And so we see each other all the time. And I was just like, I know that we like each other. Let's figure it out. But he made it very clear that he was not necessarily, he didn't really know how he'd feel about being with a trans person. Now, at this phase of my life, bitch, I don't deal with men who don't have experience. I don't deal with men, like when you're younger and trans, maybe you do like a little bit of that, like, oh, he's never been with a trans girl. I can maybe turn him out. I can change his mind. I'm not saying this is me. This was never me. But I think when you're younger, you can maybe make a little bit of excuses for like being with a man who doesn't know or like trans women. Bitch, today I'm too fucking busy. Okay, I'm too fucking busy to give my time to a man who doesn't quite like me. I'm too fucking busy. So I'm definitely not at all interested in being with men who don't like trans women, who I have to feel like I have to tell that I'm trans. Like I don't go out with men who don't know that I'm trans, don't like trans women, and have never been with a trans person. That's just not what I'm doing right now in this space of life. Now, ironically, one of the guys, the other guy that I'm currently seeing is also in the same situation. But I do this to myself. And so, so we went on a lot of different dates. And this guy was very much your like bleeding heart liberal who you go to his Facebook page and he's always talking about Black Lives Matter. And like, look, I think that's fucking great. But my Facebook page is full of memes and bullshit because as a Black person, I don't want to talk about that every fucking day, But he's just one of those people that if I see like a political post in the feed, it's always going to be usually him, right? And so, we were fine for the most part, but there would always be times where he would talk to me and I would vent to him about, some of the boy issues I was having. And, he would basically try to walk everything back to me being transgender, because I've had a thing recently, and I'll just admit this, where like, I think because I just got out of like a really relatively healthy 5-year relationship, it's hard for me sometimes to see people that I've dated with other people in monogamous relationships. And that's been like a big thing. Because I said earlier, like, I'm probably not going to tell you how many times it's happened to me, but it's been really, really, really consistent that I go out with a guy. See, because, okay, here's what's happened to me a lot. I meet a guy, usually on like Tinder or something. I know, drag me. And they say they're polyamorous. We go out on a ton of dates, right? We go out on a ton of fucking dates. We go on, a shitload of fucking dates. And we like each other. We really get along. There's no problems. I'm a great date, right? And I'm very picky about who I meet. So I usually end up meeting people who I know we're going to be fine with. And even though everything is completely copacetic with us, they meet somebody and they have to call me up and tell me, hey, I've met someone and I really like her and I really want to spend time with her. And it makes me feel like a little sense of like insecurity that like I hadn't felt before I was trying to date polyamorously. I'm a pretty fucking confident person, but when you're in a situation where you're dating someone and they say they're poly and they turn out not to be, and they choose someone over you, it's hard for that not to hit your self-esteem to some degree. It's really, really, really fucking hard. It's really, really hard. And so I've vented a lot to him about, these different things, right? Because here's my thing. I don't date ignorant men. I don't go out with men who aren't socially aware. I don't spend my time with people who don't know anything about anything. But what I've come up against is I've dated a lot of bleeding heart liberals who are all about being hashtag woke, right? But when you look at their main partner, when you look at the person that they usually end up with in a strong connection, married, kids, all that shit, it's almost always a cis white woman. It's almost always a cis white woman. Almost always. And listen, I'm totally okay with that, but it's hard for me to necessarily listen to someone talk about how woke they are and see that when you look at the scope of who they're dating and the varying degrees of commitment they have to all of these women are generally white, sometimes Asian, but generally white, right? And so one of the things that I've been upset about is maybe my very irrational upset thing, because these guys clearly aren't. I know the men I've dated are not sitting around thinking, I'm not going to date her because she's a Black trans girl. I'm going to put her to the side. I know these men totally like me and totally are into me or whatever, but they just found someone that they fit with maybe a little bit better. And so one of the things I've been ranting to him about is sort of a lot of my feelings around that. And sometimes he always walks that back when I have conversations about him about situations not like this to me being a trans person. Like we had a conversation the other day where there are these two guys in my feed. Right? One of them I just went on a movie date on and I never saw again. The other one who I met at a bar once, who I got along with really well. And he, we had little flirty conversations here and there, but nothing too serious because, he didn't know that I was trans and it was like, we're not going to take that anywhere. Right. But both of them recently got these like blonde cis girlfriends. Right. And even though these are two guys who I am not interested in dating, like am not wanting to date at all, in the most perfect situation, would not date them. It's 8:20. I better make sure I'm not here for too long. It fucked with me a little bit. It fucked with me just a little bit, especially because I know these people are in these monogamous relationships with these women, right? And so, it made me feel a little way. And so I talked to him about it. And he walked it back to me being a trans person, right? And it's like, look, not every problem I have with a man relates back to me being trans. Not every problem. Some do, sure, but the vast majority of the men that I welcome into my life these days are not men who don't like trans women. Of course, there's always going to be men who meet me at a bar and socialize with me and think that I'm cute or whatever. And don't know that I'm trans, right? But those are just men that I know I'm going to see all the time, and I'm not really thinking of them in terms of, yeah, we're going to fucking date. I'm thinking of them in terms of, yeah, we socialize in the same space, and maybe we're mutually attracted to each other, but nothing's coming of it, right? That's the way I kind of look at it. And so that was a big little annoyance for me because I knew that part of that was just his like misunderstanding that trans people exist in more different ways than just. Trans people have more issues than just being trans. You know what I mean? Trans people have way more issues than just, being trans, people not liking them for that. There's a lot of other things that trans people go through, right? And so, that was sort of like a little thing that I ranted at him about for a bit. And then we had like a different, I'm not going to get into the argument we had because it's kind of very irrelevant. We had like a little bit of an argument on his Facebook page because he was on one of his bleeding heart posts. And, he broke up with me. And like, honestly, like when he broke up to me, I even told him, I was like, it was really my fault for like entertaining this because you're not a guy who knows that he likes trans women. And I've said to myself several different times, I'm only dating men who like trans women. I'm not dating men who don't. I'm not dating men who I have to convince. One thing I realized is that when I was younger, I spent a lot of time convincing men that I was worth it. I spent a lot of time convincing men that I was worth their time, worth their energy, worth this, worth that. And now I'm sitting over here, sitting on this fucking career, this fucking apartment that I live in, all this other shit where I have to worry about you. I have to worry about you, and before then I didn't feel that way. I didn't really like myself that much. I felt like if a guy gave me time, it was like, well, that's not true. I definitely like myself a little bit, but I definitely I didn't view myself the way that I view myself now. I was maybe a little bit more willing to play to play along with a guy's insecurities. Whereas now I'm like, bitch, if you're not secure in your shit, let's not talk. But I had created these other rules for this guy because I was going to see him all the time, right? And so that was my fault. It was my fault for entertaining that for him. It really was. Let me check my phone real quick. Oh my God, my phone's not even charging. Oh wow, and I just got a really devastating fucking text. Wow. One sec. Wow, I just got like a really fucking annoying, devastating fucking text message. One sec. Let me make sure my shit's charging. All right, it is. Wow, I fucking hate that. So I just got a really shitty text message. Let me like do my eyeliner so I can like decompose. Oh my God. I hate men sometimes. Oh, I hate men sometimes. Let me do my eyeliner. I'm really upset about this. I'm really fucking upset about this, actually. Wow. Let me just do my eyeliner real quick. I have to get another fucking drink because that fucking text messages got really pissed me off. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm not really that mad, but I'm annoyed. So let me do my eyeliner. I'm sorry. All right, so I'll just tell you guys what just happened right now. So, I just got broken up with yesterday, and I'm okay with it because ultimately that guy was not for me. We never had sex. He was insecure about my body. I don't need to date a guy like that, right? But I started talking to these other guys, and I was pretty excited about meeting them because these are men who like trans women. These are men who, you know, I don't have to fucking explain myself to. We've had so many really great conversations and shit, you know. And so I was kind of really excited about meeting. I had a date set up for tomorrow. And so I just got a text message from this guy canceling on me saying, I don't really know if I have time for an extra girlfriend right now. I don't really know if I can really do that. Da, 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 da. And this was someone who talked to me up to yesterday on the phone about how much he wanted to meet me. And I know that people get busy and shit, but one of my biggest things, one of my biggest fucking issues is when men just fucking, I don't think that they lie to you, but some men, especially men on these dating websites, they're just looking for someone to tell them they're cute. They're just looking for someone to tell them that they're attractive. It's not real to some of them. It's not real to some of them. To some of them, your time, your energy, your everything, it's really not worth, it's not, it's all about the little bit of validation they get. Because why the fuck would you tell me you're available when you're not? Why the fuck would you tell me that you're free when you're not? Why the fuck would you try to tell me that you are interested in continuing to date me? Because I had a lot of conversations with him. Because my big thing with him was like, all the men that I was dating, all had main partners, and I was looking for someone who could potentially maybe fill that role, right? For me. And so, but now he's like, oh, well, shit, I don't, even though we talked about this yesterday, I'm not available. And it's just like, why the fuck would you knew that yesterday. You knew that yesterday. Why wouldn't you say that? I'm very honest and very open, maybe to maybe too much. I don't tend to tell men that I'm available when I'm not. I don't tend to tell men that I'm free when I'm not. I don't tend to tell men that I'm open when I'm not. Right? So for this guy to go from let's go and get dinner on Thursday to I don't know if I'm ready for an extra girlfriend, which is very common in poly. A lot of men, they're like, yeah, I could do this. I'm really available, da 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 da. But then reality sets in and they're like, I think I can't really have more than one person right now. I mean, dating more than one person right now as a poly person is complicated. It's complicated. You have to have the time. And for a lot of people, they just don't have the time, you know? Let me check my text again. Like, listen, time is a finite thing, you know, like time, we're not all, let me plug this into a better outlet because I feel like this shit's not charging over here. Time is finite. Like, one of the things you deal with when you're poly is, one sec. That's really fucking, I just hate that shit because I'm totally, like, I'm not an unreasonable person. Like, I'm totally willing to let men have their time and shit, but like, just tell me, you know, just tell me. Because apparently he had some shit happen with his other girlfriend and he's just realizing he doesn't have the time or whatever. Cool. I can accept that that's probably very true. My thing is like I hate when men do shit because I've had this shit happen to me before where it's like, oh, I'm available, but they're not really available. They just are on their phone at work and think that they have the time to do it. They're just looking for some sort of like validation thing when they're at work. That happens a lot with men who are poly, where it's like they just fucking want more attention, you know. It's not about really what I'm about, where it's like, yeah, I'm looking to date, not send you messages. I mean, and I should have known this shit because so another thing with me in dating, I guess we can oh, I'm so annoyed. We can sort of change this point right now. Is I'm very much about, look, if you like me and I like you, let's meet up. You know, I'm not about let's have conversations on the phone. Let's, you know, have a full fucking, you know, let me do my eyeliner. Let me not fuck up my eyeliner on my way to this poly event where I'm gonna meet a new a new dude. Let me just not. Let me just do my eyeliner now and be on point. Like that's the thing. Like I'm so about let's just meet. You know, I'm not about let's talk for weeks. I'm not about that, you know. But of course, we not that we talk for weeks, but we talk on the phone for an hour and like we had like really good conversation. And really, I should have been like, hey, let's just fucking meet. Because a lot of this, like, it's you know, men can be when you have no responsibility to meet someone, you can be like the best fucking person in the world. You can be the best fucking person in the world. I put way too much eyeliner over here. But when you actually meet up, it's hard to fucking deny, you know, what, you know, who the fuck you are, right? Like it's hard to just, you can't pretend anymore. You're in front of it. You can't pretend anymore. I'm not crying. I literally just got eyeliner in my waterline by putting too much right here. Because I totally get that for a lot of men on dating sites, it's like it's shit you do when you're at work. It's not real, really. A lot of men are just really looking for that little bit of fucking validation, you know? And so I'm aggravated because you had to have known to some degree that you didn't have the availability to do what, you know, what you want, to be who I wanted. You know, you had to know that. You had to know. I don't buy that you just didn't know. Anyway, let me just do my eyeliner. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's so easy to be honest. Like, my problem, honestly, so one of the things I've been working on dating as a poly person now is like, I'm very like straight up and honest. Like, I don't, I maybe tell men how I feel too much, you know? And it's not like I'm like falling over these people, but it's like, you know, if I like something and want something, I'm going to fucking say it, as opposed to pretending I don't quite feel that way. Right? Because I feel like that's just such a fucking waste of time and I'm too fucking old and too fucking busy. Speaking of too old and too busy, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna walk gonna walk over there, get my mascara that's sitting on my art table, and then grab another fucking cider because I really need one right now. I'm so annoyed. It's 8:36, so the event's only been happening for 30 minutes. We're still fine. I think that when you're poly, you run into a lot of different people who are poly for various different reasons. You know, like my friend that I met a couple, a really really great couple, at this poly convention I was just at, and we've been talking all the time, and they're awesome. We got along really well at the convention, and they started being poly because, well, their version of poly, because when they got to a certain point where, you know, she wasn't having as much sex with him as he wanted. And so he just kind of, you know, so she, at her suggestion, they decided to open up the relationship, right? And that was sort of their introduction to poly. And so, you know, and they, like, you know, I was talking to him today and it was like, the way they describe it doesn't sound like my version of poly, where it's like I can't imagine myself with one person. I can imagine myself only dating and being with one person. Like the thought of that is just like a terrifying trap to me. Like that just, it just sounds like such a bad place to be for me personally. So that's how I fucking feel. Whereas this, I think these two people are like monogamous, really. But you know, maybe, I don't know, they're monogamous, but they are, because really the guy is just open to having sex with more than one person. Whereas the wife is a little bit more willing to date someone, and she's had sex with other people, but not as many as like she's a little bit like me, where it's like you want to date someone and, instead of, just fucking them. Like, you just meet people who are poly for like various different reasons. And, I'm always pretty inclined to say, oh, well, that's not really poly, but I don't want to be like a fucking gatekeeper, because, if that's poly to you, that's poly to you. I don't know. So like poly to me, I feel like I am not monogamous, so I'm poly. I can't envision myself being monogamous, and that's not me coming out of my last relationship. That's me really realizing something about who I am and how I see things, right? Some people serial date and they're like, oh, that's polyamory. I'm like, no, you're just serial dating. Like, the guys that I dated who ended up getting into these relationships, like these long-term relationships with these women, like, those men were never really poly. They were serial dating, right? If you were poly, you wouldn't say, well, I'm really gonna hanker down with this one person, and that's gonna be what that is, I just don't like how men are sometimes really afraid of telling me what the situation is. Because what sucks for me, like, for example, right? Not to talk myself up too much, but I have a lot of options when it comes to who I can spend time with. I really do. And sometimes when shit like this happens, what's more upsetting to me is the fact that I put aside the time that was disrespected, that I could have spent with someone else, that I told someone else I wasn't available for. And now I don't have that day anymore. I don't have that availability anymore because of you, right? And so, because you weren't able to fucking make a clearer decision about who you are and what you like and where you're at, I now have a wasted time that a wasted day that I could have spent with someone fucking else. Like, I'm totally like, if you're not available, if you're not free, if you can't do it, fine. But don't let me sacrifice my time for that. I mean, luckily you did tell me the day before. I mean, some of these guys have told me the day of our date, like, oh, I met someone and I'm really wanting to date them, and da 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 da. But whatever. It's like, one of the things I have to consistently tell myself is like, I can't sit over here and be all upset because this person didn't want to be who I was looking for. Because at the end of the day, what would happen if I actually spent my time with him? I would be miserable because he wouldn't be what I was looking for. So you're saving me a lot of pain and a lot of agony and a lot of frustration and upset by just, taking yourself out of the running. And that's fine. That is totally fine. It's just frustrating. I feel like a lot of people still struggle to be honest. And I know that for some poly people, they struggle to be honest because of their partner, right? I've talked to I was dating this guy for a bit, was friends with the guy that I broke up with yesterday. Me and him got along really fucking well. We were really, really gelling very well. He was a guy that I met actually before I met my ex. We were just never able to go out on a date. And so we, now that I was single again, we were able to go out on a date and we really got along really well. But he wasn't being very honest with his partner, and his partner wasn't really being honest with him. And so because of that, we had to put a pause on our relationship because he had to go and sort out what was going on at home, right? And I'm not the kind of person who ever wants to upset what's going on at home. Never. I never want to be that person. But I'm often put in that position where I'm upsetting what's going on at home because the man isn't being honest. And the thing about poly people is poly people, generally speaking, are pretty fucking honest. But when you're dating people who, because a lot of what I've dealt with, honestly, is like, a lot of these people have very fragile white cis female partners who need a lot of affirmation all the time. And so there's been a lot of times where like they're out on a date with me, but they're getting constant messages, they're getting constant texts, right? And so then now suddenly, even though we were on a date, it's like it's like I'm on a date with those other girls too, because those girls are just blowing up their phone, right? And it's not like a cheating thing. It's like well, the guy's out of the house and I don't know what I'm doing, and the loneliness shit kicks in. It's a lot of that, and it's like, I wish sometimes people would just I don't know. Like if your partner is at home texting you nonstop because you went on a date, that should tell you that you should probably go home. You should probably go home. You know, maybe you shouldn't be out doing this. You should probably go home. But now I'm in a situation where maybe I start developing feelings for you and you can't really continue the relationship because, well, your girlfriend at home doesn't like this that you're seeing me, right? To this day, the guy that I just talked about, we always another guy that we always go to the same fucking golf clubs together. We're always there at the same time. And every other time I pull him aside and have a conversation with him, and his girlfriend is there. It's very much like, you know, let's go. Like, you know, she's always trying to like break up the conversation. Not, you know, and I don't know always what that is. That might not be a jealousy thing, but I just can't help that every time your partner is talking to me, your partner who is polyamorous, who has gone on dates with me, who likes me, who is attracted to me, you're sitting over there upset, probably because you even can't be honest and say that this makes you uncomfortable. Like, I've been expected to sort of, I just got another message from this guy that I met yesterday at a bar, and he's like, if you want to hang out, let's hang out. Oh, he was so fine too. He was so cute. This guy is so cute. He was tall. He was bearded. He had like longish hair. He looked very like he could like use a Tarzan type man, and like I'm just all about that. And he just sent me a message. He was like, if you want to hang out, let me know. But funny enough, see, now this is gonna make me sound like a home wrecking bitch. This is not right. This is not correct. So I'm wrong here, and feel free to drag me. But he was there with a girl. Wow, listen to me just drag someone else's like relationship and their situation and then tell you guys that like I'm low-key home wrecking, but I'm really not though, because they were clearly just like either out on a date or just I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. Because we exchanged like Instagram information like right in front of her. And I couldn't tell if she didn't like it. Me and her actually had a really good conversation. I don't know what everyone's situation is, but he kept telling me, well, I'm here with a lady friend. I'm here with a lady friend. I'm here with a lady friend. And I saw them earlier. Girl, let me not be too messy. He's cute. And look, I'm single. Okay. So like, girl, I'm such a hypocrite. Someone better come and get me. I'm such a fucking hypocrite. I'm such a fucking hypocrite. Anyway, let me stop because I just got all flustered with that message. See, bitch, here's the thing. I can't be mad at men for too long. I really can't be mad about men for too long because there's always someone else. There's always someone new. There's always a person, you know what I mean? So it's like I can't like men devastate me sometimes with like the reason why you should just be more honest and upfront with me is again, so I can give my time to someone else. You know, if you tell me you're not available and you just communicate that to me accurately, I can accept that you're not available. I can go and spend my time with someone else. I will be okay. Trust me, I will be fine. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. I promise you I'm going to be okay. Because I have all these other men I can talk to. It's not just you. I had to tell the guy who broke up with me yesterday. I was like, you know, you're not the only guy I'm talking to, right? Like, you know that like I get that you feel this way, but like you're not the only person I'm talking to. So like maybe don't necessarily feel like, I don't know, don't read too deeply into some of the shit. I'm all about like, if you don't fucking like me, if you're not fucking down, why waste each other's time? Some men really enjoy the like back burner shit. Some men really love, and this is what I've learned about some of these guys. They really, really love leaving a girl on the back burner, leaving her as a possibility, and then contacting her when it's convenient, and then like going from there. They can't just cut it off. They can't just say, hey, this isn't what I want right now, and you know, maybe we're not necessarily a match. Is my eyeliner? I guess my eyeliner is mostly pretty similar. It could be better though. Yeah. Anyway, they just want to leave you on a back burner and then call you when it's fucking convenient. You know. And a side note, I won't say I haven't done that with men. I won't say, but right now I tend not to. Anyway, let me line my lips. Let me line my lips. Oh shit. that my lip scrub up here? Where the fuck is my lip scrub? Oh, whatever. I'll just let my lips be crusty, but like very moisturized, you know, like they'll be very moisturized looking. What are y'all saying in the chat? Let me read what you guys are saying in the chat while I'm fucking doing I haven't read the chat at all. Yes, Kitty Chaotique. Hey, DJ Docs. Okay, let me lip line my lips. You know what's so funny? I could have done my makeup in like 3 minutes if I wasn't on a live stream. Because I'm on a live stream, I've been here for like, how long have we been here? Like for 2 hours almost. Like, you know, here's the thing. I'll say this right now. Like, I'm pretty upset with this guy who just, you know, did the whole I don't know if I'm available, because I feel like you knew that before. How I don't think you you didn't know that before you just talked to me. You had to have known that way before. But even in that situation, I'm gonna admit I'm sitting over here like reasoning with him and shit. Because here's my thing. I asked him, I was like, look, are you gonna delete your OkCupid page? Because one thing I don't like is when someone say, oh, I'm not available, or I just really I don't, and when really what they're trying to do. Let me actually read if he responded. Actually, let me read that because. One sec. So are you going to delete your OkCupid account? Because if you keep it open, because I guess because to me it's like you have to know you're not available. So I'll tell you guys this, okay? Now I don't know if this is what this is. I don't know. It might not be at all. All right. I should stop texting this guy because nothing's going to help. I'm not going to be able to get what I want from that exchange. I'm just not. Charging rapidly. Please fucking charge rapidly. So I just had a really long conversation. So he called me yesterday because I had an audition and I told him about the audition. And now I'm going to be very vague about this because I don't know where this is going. I don't want to, jinx it or anything like that. But I just auditioned to be a co-host on a major television show on a major network. And I was one of 6 people they auditioned. And so the likelihood of me getting it is pretty high. And I feel pretty confident about it after going to the actual audition. Who knows? I'm also in the mindset of like, it's probably not going to work out for me, but I'm okay with that. I could accept that maybe, just maybe, it's not going to work out. That's okay. Right. But, one of the things I've definitely dealt with now in this particular phase of my life where I am successful is that scares a lot of men. That scares a lot of men. A lot of men are terrified by success. Fuck, I told him this the other day. And he said to me, no, I think it's kind of sexy that you have your own thing, right? He said, I think it's kind of sexy that you have your own thing. And so, like, I'm thinking, okay, we're all cool, we're all copacetic, right? But I don't know. Like the only difference between here and now, like maybe he does have something with his girlfriend. Maybe that's really what happened. I don't really fucking know. But all I know is we had a long conversation yesterday about me auditioning for the show and how it seemed like it was likely that I was going to get it. And now suddenly he's not available anymore. And that fucking sucks, Like I don't really like feeling like what it is my success. I don't want to pretend to be stupid so I can get a fucking date. I don't like that shit. And I just can't help but notice that a lot of men always end up dating these other fucking girls who have nothing fucking going for them, and they love that about it. Fuck, I had a conversation with a guy yesterday at a bar, and he was telling me about how traditional he was. He was saying this to me, I know, thinking that this was something I was going to find like sexy and irresistible. But he was like, yeah, if I marry a woman, I want her to stay at home. I don't want her to work. I'm very traditional. I want to treat her like a queen and this and this and that. And I'm thinking, that sounds fucking terrifying. That sounds like the end of my fucking life. I don't ever want to be in a situation where a man is controlling, has the ability to fucking control. Bitch, this is what we're gonna fucking wear. We're gonna wear this hoe outfit and we're just gonna hope that this gets me some hits at the fucking poly event. Because bitch, that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. I really should stop trying to read these messages. Anyway, but I don't know, like, so, all right, I'm gonna change. But you know, I go back and forth between so much of this shit because like when I hear about these guys getting into these fucking long-term relationships with these women, it's like I think to myself, like, should I be that fucking bitch who's like, because I know what happens with these women is that these women basically tell these guys, you're gonna be with me or no one else, you know? Like you're gonna be with me and that's how that's gonna go. Um, you know, the end. Whereas I'm very like, well, you know, I don't mind that you're with other people. I don't mind that you're dating this person and that person, right? As long as we have our time, that's fine, right? But like maybe I need to be more of a controlling bitch. Maybe I need to be more of a fucking obsessive, controlling bitch. Controlling bitch, rather. I'm just all about like I never want anyone to be with me and then feel like they're stuck with me, right? Like I really fucking like myself and I like myself enough to know that like I deserve someone who actually wants to be around me. So, you know, go do what you have to do. I don't know. It's a little aggravating because I feel like I give men I feel like I'm such a great deal. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna I'm gonna pay for my own fucking shit. I'm not gonna tell you you have to only be with me. I'm not gonna be controlling of you. You know? I don't know. Sorry, I'm looking for something. Ugh, I can't find what I'm looking for, and it's really aggravating. Um, oh, I guess this will do. So, like, my big thing is like, I don't know. I guess, like, am I too much of a good deal? Like, am I way? Because I don't know. I don't know. Like, because you know it's becoming aggravating to me, and this was the thing I told the guy who broke up with me yesterday. I was like, it's really exhausting to hear men say, "I really like you. I think you're really great. I think you're cute. I think you're this. I think you're that." But I just can't fucking do it. Or I just can't fucking date right now, or I'm just not available for that right now. Because why waste my, because listen, if you read any of my dating profiles, and if you meet me in person even, if you actually fucking have a conversation with me, you know that I'm really not about that shit. I'm really not about wasting my fucking time. Right? So there's no way really to date me or to spend time with me and to ever get the impression that I'm someone who wants to waste my fucking time. I'm too busy. I have too much shit to do. I have too many things going for me. I have too many people who want to be around me to like waste my fucking time. Right? So it's either these men just really want that validation or they don't believe what the fuck they're saying. Like I feel like half the time these men are like, you're great, you're amazing, you're this, you're that. They don't really fucking believe it. And I would rather say, I'd rather them say, you know what, I don't think we're a match. Than say, well, something came up and my girlfriend this and my girlfriend that. And, I'd rather hear that. With some of the men who have broken up with me or have paused our relationship at least, I totally know for a fact that they mean that shit because like I know that they mean that shit, and I know that they're not just saying it because we've had conversations about it, right? But the whole, oh my God, you're just so great. I just have this other person who needs my this or that. It's like, well, why the fuck did we even talk? If you're not available, don't say you are. I'm too fucking busy. I mean, that's kind of what it came down to with this other guy that I broke up with. Is like, he was like, look, I don't have the time to learn all the shit that you require for me to actually date you the way that you deserve to be dated. And I was like, yeah, I know that, but I knew that going in with this guy. So I guess in that situation, I really could only blame myself. But at the same time, it was like, look, I mean, I don't know. I experienced that with so many other people, and it's like, I don't know. Why not just communicate that you're not there? That's going to be so much less upsetting to me than like leading me on and then telling me, well, I'm not there yet, or I'm not ready, or this is not. I understand that people learn shit, but you have to have an inkling. I don't believe that these men just like didn't know that they didn't have the capacity. I don't believe that. I have a really hard time believing that these men just like had no clue. We're not totally prepared. We're just super, super unaware and just didn't know that like, because if you're busy and when you're not. Like I remember I was telling a lot of the guys I was seeing, like, look, next couple of months, I'm gonna be fucking busy. I'm gonna be traveling the fucking country. I don't necessarily have as much time to fucking dilly-dally, and so I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to treat some of my partners a little bit more seriously because I just, I would rather spend time with people of quality than try to meet new people who aren't really what I'm looking for. I'm enjoying the people that I'm seeing now. Let's not add anyone to the fucking mix. I would put a little bit of foundation on my chest just to sort of match everything. I'm a little drunk, if you can't tell. And so that's my big fucking thing. It's like, I'm very good at communicating what I can and can't do. I don't think I've yet gotten to a point where I was like, I just can't fucking do this. And then like some of these guys was like, yeah, I changed my mind. Because that's not really me, Anyway, I'm really blabbing. I don't think I'm making much sense right now. Luckily, I'm about ready to go. It's whatever, because ultimately I'm very much in the mindset of if it's not going to work out, it's not going to work out. There's no sense in crying over spilled milk and, crying about a thing that didn't turn out the way, because it's at the end of the day, it wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. It's okay, All right, so I'm mostly dressed now. You guys can see this very shoddily put on dress that I'm wearing. Bitch, I'm trying to come to this fucking poly meetup just signaling that I'm single and ready to mingle. I'm available for, any sort of poly gathering situation. I don't know. Dating is so frustrating because I feel like I'm always the honest one and they're always not, Like, I feel like I'm always the one who like shares everything. And the men are always the ones who are like, not quite like, fuck, this guy didn't even tell me I had a fucking girlfriend, you know? Like, bitch, let's not do that. It's not what we're not gonna do. Like, we're trying to be a little slutty, but like, we're not trying to show full boob. We're not trying to show full boob. Maybe a little bit, but not full boob. You never go full boob. Kat, I'm curious your thoughts of Theron Meyer. I don't know who that is. I mean, I do know who that is, but like, who cares? In fact, I'm gonna start like blocking people who come in the room and are like, "Oh, what do you think about this YouTuber?" I don't think about them. That's what I think, you know. That's what I think is I don't think about them. In fact, let me just talk about this real quick before I go. One of the big reasons why I have not really been making YouTube videos, I mean, I have been making YouTube videos, you guys just haven't seen them yet, is I needed to walk away from a lot of this sort of community bullshit around YouTube. I really needed to like have a moment where I was like not always feeling like you know, I needed to sort of chime in on every new person's bullshit, right? Like I needed to exist on my own. Bitch, look how fucking good I look. Look how fucking good I look. Can we just take a second to talk about how fucking good I look? Look at the ass though. Look at that. Oh, she got it. Oh, what? What though? Who the what? Oh, see, this is why I can't be too mad at men because it's like, bitch, listen. Yeah. I was about to give you the best head of your fucking life, but like you don't want it, that's fine. I'm gonna give it to someone else. Let me not show you guys my BDSM shit on camera. Oh my god. You don't want it? That's fine. That's fine. Well, obviously I don't suck. Like I said earlier in this video, I don't suck that much. I don't have sex that much. I wish Polly meant that I was having sex all the time. I really do. I truly do. But for me, it's mostly meant that I am sitting sad in my room, making live streams about men that say they don't have the fucking capacity to date me. That's mostly what me being poly is. That's the predominant ways in which poly materializes for me personally. Oh, bitch, this is a dress that the guy that I'm dating, I'm about to go out with, well, not about to go out with. This is the dress that I that I wore when the guy asked me out on a date. So I'm low key, I'm not intentionally doing it, but like basically fuck you. It's a good dress. I look fucking cute. And you know, I'm actually not bitter. I think me and that guy are still gonna be really good friends. I just need a moment. I just need a fucking moment. Because really what it boiled down to with us breaking up was that he just can't date trans. For me, it's like, look, did I really lose out? No. Am I really is it really like an upsetting, oh my God, like this was gonna be such a great relationship? Should it no, it's absolutely not. Um So like I'm not like heartbroken or hurt about it or anything like that. This fucking choker is not going to why the fuck is it even like this? I hate this shit. I got this from Scrap Leather at fucking Stockroom, which should have been like a sign like bitch don't, you know. You see, the thing is, I meet some pretty good people. This guy that dumped me yesterday is still a good person. It's just I think people think I'm way more intense because I express myself a lot. And I think that for some people that's very scary. I'm not like a lot of people where I'm just gonna like pretend that I don't feel something. You know, when I feel some type of way, you're gonna fucking know that I feel some type of way. I have this choker right here, but I don't like how these look on me. I always feel like this looks like I have a beard low key. Cause like I always want to wear a choker to these events to communicate like I like to be choked sometimes and I'm a little kinky. You know what I mean? It's virtue signaling, if you will. Oh, I'm such a mess. I'm such a fucking mess. I don't know why y'all even like me. Like, I'm such a terrible, shitty, rickety, tickety, tackety mess. But look, her thighs are thick though. Her thighs are thick as shit. She got an ass don't quit. Um. Like, you know what? Because here's okay. So to sort of begin to wrap up, because I need to do that eventually. Dating poly is very exhausting in many, many, many ways. But at the same time, I know that this is the most honest way for me to date. I know that because I've never had, I mean, even the fact that this guy sent me a message being like, oh my God, I can't do it. Like, I appreciate that. I would rather him have sent me that message now than go out on a date with me and then tell me in a week that, you know, oh, I'm just not available to add someone else to our relationship. You know, it's just, I would rather him do that. I would much rather know that now than later, you know, because I don't want to fucking deal with bullshit beyond, I don't want to deal with more shit. I'm so drunk. I've had 2 ciders and I'm already fucked up. Lord, please someone come and save me. I'd rather know than be told now, you know? Are there poly communities or something kind of like the light or BDSM groups? Are you going to one? I tried. I'm heading to a polyamorous event right now, bitch. And I'm about to go meet some men, bitch. I need to put some lotion on my legs so I'm a little ashy, bitch. Like it is exhausting. It honestly is exhausting, but at the same time, it's very rewarding because I think when you're trying to date monogamously, here's my opinion, and you guys can disagree with me, and I can totally say that you're wrong, and we can just love each other in that way. But honestly, like I think that when you're dating monogamously, you're being now this is not for everyone, but for a lot of people, you're being inherently dishonest because there's this idea that you've just met the person, the one person, um, you know, and that's just not real. Like that's just not real. And so a lot of monogamy is pretending that you don't find other people attractive, pretending that you don't want to have sex with other people, pretending that other people that you never flirt with someone else, and then people getting upset. Like I watch so many shows about cheaters and shit, and so much so I've done that for years, and I've realized that so much of that comes from me being like, what the fuck is monogamy, and why do people do it so much? Like why, you know, like because it's just, does someone not love you because they had sex with someone else? That's what you're told. That's what you're told. You're told that like someone doesn't love you because they have sex with someone else because they find someone else attractive. I don't think that that changes. I don't think that someone loves you less because they find someone else attractive. I think it was them when you don't communicate that to your partner, for sure, for sure. But I don't think that someone doesn't love you because, you know, they had sex with someone else. I don't. I really don't. I think it's completely possible for you to fuck someone else and still love your partner to fucking pieces. But a lot of people are never going to go there. A lot of people are never going to go there. And like Tamara just said, or Tamara just said, the problem is lying. And I think that for a lot of people, they're going to know. See how you almost saw my tussie when I got up? See how you almost saw it? That's the effect I'm trying to give. That's what I'm trying to give. I'm trying to be the available look, but I need to really make sure that my bra doesn't pop out like that because that's a little tacky. I think, nothing else about this outfit is tacky, but that is tacky. So, but that could just be an effect all night. It's like, it's pulling up my fucking dress. So you know what though, guys? Like, here's the thing, and I need to really remind myself about this shit. Like, I'm a little upset about this guy tonight, but bitch, I have a date on Friday. I have a date on Friday. He's probably gonna be fine. This is the guy that I've actually talked to. He doesn't remember, but we've talked before. Thank you, Tamara. I am kind of a mess right now. And who knows where that might go. But at the same time, I would rather be alone than miserable with someone else. I would rather be alone. Anyway, let me call my fucking Uber. I need to stop stressing out about these men. Because you know what? I've been saying this a lot lately because it's whenever one man fails, there's always another one. There's always another one. Men are an infinite resource. I know that sounds really shitty and maybe kind of disrespectful, and maybe you don't like to hear that, and that's fine. It me be not bothered really about things not working out with a man because at the end of the day, at the end of the fucking day, there's gonna be another one. So where am I going? Okay, let me check how much it is on Lyft. Ooh, $13. I guess we'll have to take that. $13, get me there by 10 o'clock, which leaves me, how long is this open? I think this goes till 2. Yeah. I'm getting here a lot earlier than I generally do, so. I mean, I started late, but I'm getting here a lot earlier than I generally do. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for coming. My Lyft is gonna be here in 4 minutes. Bitch, I'm about to go out. I have a good old fucking time with poly people. I'm feeling real good about life. Men suck, but I'm happier dating poly than I ever have been in my life. So yeah. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.